Hey guys, it's Kait, and today I'm going to be showing you how we do our competition makeup. So first things first, I have this little bag that I carry all of my makeup in, and I bring it to every competition just so if I ever need to fix my makeup, and I always have to touch up throughout the day, so if I just have my makeup bag with me, then I can do so. So to start off, I like to start with my eyes rather than my face just because then if I get any black eyeshadow or there's any fallout, then I can wipe it off and I don't have to worry about like wiping off any of my face makeup. So first I'm going to start with this primer. It is the Hard Candy Hydrating Primer. I got this from Walmart and I'm just going to put a little bit on my fingers and then I'm going to rub it into my eyelids. Now I'm going to take my concealer. I use the Tarte Shape Tape concealer and I'm going to just put it on my eyelids. Look right here. Now I'm going to take my beauty blender and I'm going to take my setting spray. I use the Urban Decay De-Slick setting spray and I'm going to spray my beauty blender so it can get wet and it can get easier to blend my makeup. Now I'm going to blend out all of the concealer. Now that all of my concealer is blended out, I like to put powder on my eyelids just so it makes it easier to blend the eyeshadow. So I use the Laura Mercier setting powder and I just take this little circle pad that it came with and I dip it in and I put it on my eyelid. Now I like to blend out that powder that I just put on my eyelids with a little brush kind of like this and I just blend it out. So now that we have all of our powder blended out, it's time for the fun part, eyeshadow! So the makeup palette that I use is the Morphe palette in Copper Spice 25A. I like to use this one just because I also use it for field season, so I just like to get both uses out of it. So I like to use a fluffy circle brush for my eyeshadow and I'm just going to dip it into this black one right here and then I like to tap it so then it kind of gets most of the black off, because if you go in with too much black then you're gonna have some harsh lines everywhere and it's not gonna blend easy. So if you dip it in and then tap it, then it can get most of the black off, so then you can put some on and then you can build upon it by adding more. So when I start putting on my black eyeshadow, I like to kind of start at the outer corner and then blend my way up into this crease. So if you kind of look at my eye, this is the first time that I have dipped my brush into the black eyeshadow and blended it out, so it's not super dark, but I can build upon it to make it darker. But it looks really nicely blended, which is what we want. So now I'm gonna dip back in and I'm just gonna keep adding more to my eye. So with your black eyeshadow, you also want to make sure that you don't go too much up into your eyebrow. So this is probably like a good space between my eyebrow and my eyelid. It might be a different amount of space for you because all of our eyes are different. So now I'm going to do the other eye. So this is kind of the difference that I'm talking about on how you can build upon your eyeshadow. So this was after one dip into my eyeshadow and I blended it out on my eye, and this is after about 3 times. So now I like to go in with a more compact brush instead of the fluffy one that we just used. And I like to dip it in my black eyeshadow and then I like to pat it at the outer corner just so we can make it as dark as possible out there. So for the glitter that I'm using is the Morphe palette Such a Gem 39S. I'm using this one just because it's something that I already had at home, so I didn't have to go out and buy something new. But Walmart does have these like squares of just silver glitter, and they're really cheap and they work really well, so that's an option. So now for the glitter that I'm going to use, I am going to use this one up here opposed to this one because this one is kind of dull and this one is more shimmery and bright. So for my glitter, I'm going to use this kind of compact flat brush, and a trick to getting your powdered glitter to stay on really well is spraying your brush with setting spray. So now I'm going to dip my brush into the silver glitter and I am going to place it on my eye. I like to kind of start at the bottom, like right about here, and then I like to build its way up and kind of create that shape following my crease. So again, I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm going to build my way up into the crease, and then I'm going to blend it out with my black eyeshadow. Now I'm going to do the exact same to the other side. So after I have finished my glitter, I like to go back in and reapply my black eyeshadow, and then I like to go back in and reapply my glitter again, just so I can make sure that it stays as long as possible and it can be as dark and shiny as possible. So now that I have finished reapplying my eyeshadow and my glitter, I'm going to clean it up a little bit. So how I clean it up is I take a cotton pad and my cleansing water and I get it all wet with my cleansing water, and then I fold it in half and I take it right here and I swipe up to create this line right here. You might have to do it a few times just so you can get a really good line. Like that first time wasn't that good, but the second time it's looking really good. So I'm going to do the same to the other side. So now that we have cleaned both sides up, we're going to move on to eyeliner. So the eyeliner that I use is the e.l.f. waterproof eyeliner. And I am going to try to show you guys how I apply my eyeliner as best as I can, but it is very hard to show on camera, but I will try. So when I apply my eyeliner, I like to kind of start holding my eyeliner like this, and I start in the middle of my eye, and I make a line out to the end of my eye. Then I like to switch positions to this way, and I place it right about there in the middle of the end of my eye and the end of my eyeshadow, so I can create the wing. So here is how my eyeliner looks. So I have never been good at eyeliner. It just takes a lot of practice, and you can start practicing now, so by the time our first competition comes, you can be a pro at it. So now we are going to move on to lashes. So the lashes that I use are Lily lashes, and these ones are Opalence. They are very expensive, so I would not recommend getting these because you can get a lot cheaper ones from Walmart or Ulta or Sephora. So for my lash glue, I use the Duo brush on adhesive, and this one is green. When I apply my lash glue to the lash, I like to get a very little bit and place it on the lash line. I like to do a very thin line because it makes it dry faster, and it also makes it a lot easier to take them off at the end of the night when you're done. If you put too much lash glue on your lashes and then you try to put them on, it could be too wet and it could not stick to your eye and take a very long time to dry, which could also cause the lash glue to get inside of your eye, which stings a lot. It might also cause, whenever you take off your lashes at the end of the night, it might rip out your real lashes because the glue gets coated on your natural lashes. So now I am going to put my lashes on and I'll be right back. So now that my lashes are on, we are going to use mascara. So the mascara that I use is the Lash Princess False Lash Effect. And I like to put this on after I put on my lashes just so I can blend my natural lashes with the fake ones. So now that my lashes are all done, we're going to move on to face makeup. So I went ahead and I did my eyebrows off camera because there isn't really a technique that I do to it, but I do use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade, and then I use this little tool from Benefit. So now we are going to go back in with the same primer that we used earlier for our eyes, but now we're going to put it all over our face. So now for my foundation, I use the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I like to use this one just because it says longwear, so I feel like it should last for a long time. So I put 1 squirt on the back of my hand, and I'm going to take my beauty blender and I'm going to put it all over my face. So this is how I like to put the foundation on my face, and I'm going to take my beauty blender and I'm going to blend it all out. So now that all of my foundation is blended out, I am going to go back in with my concealer. This is where I like to place my concealer, so now I'm going to blend that all out. So now that all of my concealer is blended out, I'm going to go in with contour, and the contour that I use is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation Contour. So this is where I like to place all of the contour, and now I'm going to blend it all out. So now that all of my contour is blended out, I'm going to go back in with the same powder that we used before. So this time for my powder, I like to use a different beauty blender, and I dip it into the powder and then I place it in the areas that I want it. So I kind of place it here so it can do something to my jawline. I'm not really sure what, but I watched a makeup person on YouTube do this, so I decided to follow them. So with the beauty blender, I place it under my cheekbone, and I also place it on my nose right here to create a sharp line right there. Now I'm going to go back in with the circle pad, and I'm going to put the powder all over my face just because since we are dancers, we sweat a lot. So I want to make sure that my makeup stays on throughout the whole entire day and through all of our routines. So now I'm going to go in with the same brush that I used earlier and blend all of the powder out. So now I'm going to take my bronzer and I'm going to place it in all the same places that I put my contour. This one, I used the Kylie Jenner pressed bronzing powder. And I also use this compact brush. So now that I've finished that, we are going to move on to my favorite part of the makeup routine, which is blush. So I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Trio. This is in Berry Adore. This is my favorite blush ever. And then I also use this big circle brush. So I'm going to dip my brush in there, and I'm going to lightly put it on my cheeks. If you go in too hard, then you're going to get this harsh line and it won't blend out. So if you go very lightly, then you can get it to blend out. And then I also like to just put a little bit on my nose, not much at all. Now we are going to move on to highlighter. So I use the Ofra highlighter in Star Island. So first I'm going to use this fluffy brush, and I'm going to put it in the highlighter, and then I'm going to put it on my cheekbones. Now I'm going to go in with this small fluffy brush, and I am going to put it at the end of my nose and the bridge of my nose. Then I'm also going to place a little bit right above my lips. Now I'm going to take this small angled circle compact brush, and I'm going to put it on my brow bone. So unfortunately, I have not been able to find my red lipstick, so I did order some more, but the red lipstick that I use is the Too Faced in shade Lady Balls. Another red lipstick that is also really good is the Kylie Jenner in shade Red Velvet, and then another one that is also really good is the Maybelline in shade Dancer. Those are all really nice red colors, and I definitely recommend them all. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my competition makeup tutorial, and I hope you share with your friends, and I hope this was really helpful to you.